Good morning, fellow gardeners. Dawn here from Seasonal Designs. Today we are going to do what I call a summer garden tour. We're going to take a look at all of my gardens, including the front yard, across the drive, around the greenhouse, and a little bit of my prairie. Now, I am going to try to give you the names of some of the things as we walk through the garden. I'm going to apologize in advance if I slaughter those names a little bit. But I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get started. Let's head down the front walkway here in front of the house. You'll see this is the side with the garage, and then right out here to the front, I have this beautiful Tina crabapple bush. At one point, this thing was enormous. And I just kept feeling like I just kept having to trim it and trim it, and it was getting bigger and bigger. And finally, I said to my husband, get out the chainsaw, and we whacked it to the ground, and it came back, and it is looking perfect. Quite amazing, quite resilient. It is underplanted. This whole front bed is underplanted with Pachysandria. And it is looking so good this year with the rain we just got. It is green and lush and glorious and just very happy. On the left-hand side, I have a Boxwood Hedge that lines the entire front walk, and then two hawthorn trees that are in each of the corners, and those are underplanted with Stellador daylilies that are done blooming. As we walk down the path, you can see here on the corner, I have a Sarcoxy unanimous that softens that edge. I have the Sum and Substance hostas with the beautiful purple blooms right now. They are so pretty. In fact, let me just walk a little closer and just talk about kind of this view. So if you look at this view, you see this beautiful chartreuse colored green with the beautiful purple blooms. Right over here behind it, you get a glimpse of the Annabelle hydrangeas, and that white, it just draws your eye. And then over on the left-hand side, look at that Russian sage that is in full bloom right now. And it just is glorious. When you mass plant, these are the types of things that you see. And in my eye, this is what I'm drawn to. I'm drawn to just like a big mass of color because it just draws my eye down, and I want to go check it out. So let's do that. Let's walk down. Really, it's just such a pretty view. This is the front door over here. This is a hydrangea, a climbing hydrangea on the corner here. We'll take a look at that from another angle, but just kind of want to show you what this looks like. So again, this bed here kind of softens and divides the front walk from the driveway that comes in through the woods. But look at that color with the yellows and the purples and the pinks. Isn't that just so sweet? I'm really happy with it. I just love what it looks like right now. Back up and give you a look here at the front. That is a pear tree, the hydrangeas that were on the side of the house that have kind of grown forward and now just lay and soften that edge. Just think it's beautiful. Have some of the grasses there, Japanese forest grass. My astilbe is done blooming, but boy, that is red, and that was just a beautiful pop of red earlier. And again, you can see the ground cover here just literally fills in the entire space, and it doesn't go anywhere. It goes to the sidewalk, and that's all the further it can go. This is a climbing hydrangea, just beautiful when it blooms. Sorry, that bird scared me. There's a nest in there. I should keep my distance. Beautiful when it blooms. The butterflies love it. Obviously, the birds like to build their nests in there. Now I think we'll walk across here, the driveway, and we'll take a look at the bed I always seem to be working on across the drive here. You may have remembered me talking about this bed. It wasn't here. This was prairie, and the prairie went from the driveway all the way to the woods, and it just got really weedy over time, and I just didn't like the look of it. It's one of the first things you see when you drive in. The purple coneflowers were in there, and I left those exactly where they are, and I simply have been working around that, digging out weeds, killing things, just really doing the best I can. And the other thing that I did, and I did this probably 2 years ago, was I had to dig out probably, oh boy, a patch of ditch lilies that was maybe 5 or 6 feet wide by about maybe 20, 25 feet long. This whole thing was filled with ditch lilies. And then I put in a path so that there was always a division between the bed and the woodland, because the woods can get unruly and things can really grow out of that, and I wanted to keep it separated. I started just making rock formations in here and putting in different plantings, but it keeps it separate, and it also gives you an opportunity to view the bed from both sides. So now it becomes, you know, tall things in the center and then shorter things in the back as well as in the front when you're planting them. So we'll just kind of take a quick peek at this. The purple coneflowers are really, quite honestly, coming into their prime right now. Shasta daisies are on their way out, but still looking sweet. And I left my gladiator allium heads up. I don't know, I just really like them. I had the other variety in here as well. It kind of weaved its way through this entire bed. And those I've cut back now that they're brown, but these just look so cool. They almost look like garden art. So I left them. All right, and so this is the back side of this, and eventually this path will come out all the way around, and it'll join up to my vegetable garden area. But you can see I do love those allium. I have the Millennium allium here, kind of anchoring this corner, a ground sedum. And then this little area right here used to be a button bush. I dug it out, and it was so big that I had to buy several different things to kind of replace it with. So I did that. And I think that when this fills in, this will just be a nice kind of swath of this denim and lace Russian sage. I've got the caramel heuchera and the blanket flower there. And those are all going to have really pretty color now, like the end of July through fall, and which is something that I feel like I needed right here in this corner. Then I've got the sedum that the deer continuously eat. I have a patch of the rudbeckia here with some daisies mixed in, and this is just kind of a wild little patch. It does have a little bit of phlox right there. There will be a little bit of a pink right in there. Although I do see it looks like the deer ate some of that, so maybe I won't have a patch of pink in there this year. And this is Veronica, and then that's a patch of bee balm that's done. Then I have another big patch of the purple coneflowers. In front of that, I had some pink dawn, salvia, and then right in front is early bird nepeta. And then the path, this is the path to the Woodland Gardens. And you can see if you come out, then this path here is what would take you down the back side of this bed. And it really would not be a garden tour if I didn't give you a glimpse of our prairie, because it is a large piece of our property. It's about 7.5 acres of the 11.5 acres that we own here. So I'm just going to kind of do a 360. You can see the greenhouse there tucked in, and you know, all of the pine trees. We put in pockets of pine trees. About 20 some years ago, this was a farm field. We asked the farmer to till it under. We bought a bunch of prairie flower and prairie grasses native to the Midwest. And we came out and we just seeded this by hand. And we let nature kind of do her thing. And here you can see we go to the tree line, but this is deceiving because this actually goes down a hill and then up to the tree line. And really this blooms different things starting in late May with lupin, and then there's Shasta daisies and purple coneflowers that you see now, gray-headed coneflowers, there's sunflowers, there's salvia, there's asters, there's a lot of different things that bloom in here. But we think it turned out pretty good. All right, into the backyard we go. And you might remember we were talking about, you know, our greenhouse, and our goal here really was to tuck it in to the prairie, and it sits right on the edge of our lawn here to the backyard. We have a nice little seating area over here with a pergola that we grill out and just kind of enjoy some time there. This is a Pagoda dogwood tree, and I love the layerings of it. And late in the afternoon, when you really need the shade, it provides this really nice shade for over that seating area. This is a large sugar maple, which in fall is just so pretty. And then you can see here where really the greenhouse is just kind of tucked right into the prairie here. There's some prairie flowers that are blooming and some sunflowers that'll bloom a little bit later in the season. And then we go right into the plantings of some of the perennials and sedges we put in. I have a couple of urns there that I fill for each season, along with some pots, some different things that I'm doing out there. And then you might recall this is the annual garden bed. I decided just to do something different in here every year. And this year I call this a hot mess. It's just a lot of color with petunias and sweet potato vines and verbena and sunflowers. I have dahlias. I have zinnias. What else do I have? Petunias, did I say that? Just a lot of different things kind of hidden in here. And it is really filling in some lobelia, some ageratum, euphorbia. Just really, really looking good. I really enjoy the way that turned out. And then really over on this side here is really where we put the rest of that perennials that we put in. We put in a total of 500, put them in the beginning of June. It is now the beginning of August, and I'm really impressed with how some of these have really started to fill in. this yarrow, which is just so pretty, which leads right into the salvia, then another patch of yellow, then another patch of purple. You can see the coreopsis there in the back. Just really all starting to fill in. Even this nepeta here, which I thought, gosh, this stuff is never gonna get going, has finally started to get going and is actually blooming again. So really starting to do well. The allium millennium here that I have. And then on the corner there, that is that crabapple tree. Supposed to get maybe 8 feet tall. So it's not something that's gonna get too big. And then right behind that are the Bobo Hydrangeas. And maybe we can just take a trip back here. I can show you those. You can kind of get a bird's eye view from up here on this wall. The hydrangeas are going to get 3 to 4 feet wide and tall. They start white and then the blooms turn pink. Since it's August, I really am not growing anything in the greenhouse, but I am starting to get set up for growing. This is my traditional potting bench that finally came in, and we're getting some of it ready to go. Up in here, we still need to put a hole in here for a drain, and then I'm gonna put some clay pebbles in there, and I'll be able to grow things on this. The water here is hooked up and ready to go, and I found this really cool kind of copper bucket and my little bird handle here, but I will be able to do some watering with this once I'm ready to go. So that is hooked up and ready to go. And you really can see a lot of the prairie from here as well. Our heat will be hooked up and ready to go by the time we need it. Everything is ready. We just need the regulator hooked up for the gas or for the LP. And right now, just kind of using it in the evening. Sometimes we might eat here, or breakfast, especially breakfast. It's nice and cool in the mornings in here, and then it does heat up during the day. So that's why I don't have any plants, live plants in here right now. Well, that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope maybe you got a few ideas that you can use in your own garden. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.